I think we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Apache podcast. We have our favorite co-partner, Gumby. Gumby,
What can I say, man?
the discussion today is going to be a juicy one. It's going to be,
It is.
it's going to be, you know, what we all think about but don't want to discuss. Uh, Israel versus Gaza or Palestinians. Uh,
No.
yeah, man, give me your thoughts on, I guess, just from the beginning. So, does I guess here's a big question:
hmm
does Palestine have a right to coexist, I should say,
Uh-huh.
with the Israelis, whether or not in Gaza Strip or elsewhere?
Well, obviously they have a right to exist. I guess the question would be, do they have a right to exist within the the Israeli peripheral? And I think so. I think they do. I think they've been there for a while. I mean, they're kind of a stateless people. You know, they say that about the Israelis, but the Palestinians are more stateless than the Israelis. So it's very interesting
Right.
for that from that point. But yeah, also the Israeli people, they've been moving around for, I mean, it's literally been thousands of years, so it's nice to give them a little place in their home country. But what they're doing is completely unjustified, immoral, and
Who's
it's just
doing?
a
Who's doing? You got to be specific.
Israel to Palestine. What Israel is doing to Palestine, the amount of leveling of their whole entire city is just completely overdone. And that's not to
Okay.
say Hamas is, a saint in this battle. Of course not. This is why I don't side with. I don't sign with the Hamas. I sign with Palestine as like a whole group, but Hamas is obviously a disgusting group as well.
Right.
And then to get back to the recent, but Israel, on that note, Israel is they've just overplayed their hand. I mean, if you look at some of the data that these news reports have been saying, we had like a 44% point. I don't know. I saw a stat that within the American people, there was like a 44%
Support.
positive point.
Hmm.
Yeah, for Israel. Now we're down like -2. That's a lot to go down. Not only is it bad on the world stage for them, but it's bad within that conflict itself. So, and then the recent, they just keep wanting to. So we had this recent ceasefire. It's hard to get really good information on this war sometimes because I hear that Hamas attacked like two IDF soldiers, and then we hear that Israel's bombing in retaliation. But I'm not sure the incentive for Hamas to kill IDF soldiers when they want a ceasefire. They want their people to be thriving. They're getting kind of what they want. They're losing leverage, so which kind of sucks. But it's good for the hostages to be released as well. So it's pretty multidimensional here.
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot to break down. One of your important points is the American rating has changed, or American support for Israel has drastically changed
Right.
from, I believe it was 2023, October 7th, 2023. Well,
Mm,
specifically for the sake of this conversation, obviously, October 7th, 2023. Um,
right.
However, if you look at it from a historical perspective, and as a Christian in the United States, the Bible does specifically, I should put air quotes on this, but support Israel.
Mm.
Obviously, that may look different according to
I don't know
the
if I agree with that. Yeah.
individual's view of of
Mm,
how you view the Bible.
right.
Um, and this could be discussed internally with whatever denomination that you coincide with, or even personal preference. But however, I do think that the general consensus, even before 2020, much way before 2023, the conflict between Israel and Hamas, the general consensus that maybe 70% of United States Christians support, supported
Yeah.
supported Israel, right? That's kind of a given information. And I think that now, with what you said, and I do see this, the drastic changes in support from the United States. I think it's more due to, you know, when is it enough from the Israeli side. Um,
Mm,
but it's difficult because I can't necessarily say that Israel is the aggressor in this case. You know, I try not to draw a contrast between the
mm,
Israel, the Israeli were the defenders, similarly like the Ukrainians were the defenders. However, this does go much further back than the existing conflict that happened
mm-hmm,
a couple of years ago. And the I guess the real question is, can Palestinians and Israelis coexist in the same area, and which who is to govern,
mm,
right? So that's where it's important because now you're looking at, you know, so with the recent, obviously with the recent changes, with the Trump administration came out with a 20 point plan,
mm-hmm,
bringing a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. I don't know if I want to use Palestinians. However, Palestinians do play a part in this because Hamas
mm-hmm,
was elected by the Palestinians, but they are also a proxy group, a militant proxy group sponsored by the state of Iran, similarly to
mm.
Hezbollah and other organizations in the region. But the whole discussion, the whole topic today is can they coexist, and what will it take for them to coexist? Which brings us to the ceasefire that's in place. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's possible. Possible or probable is a
sure.
different situation there. I mean, possible, yes. It's like, is it possible for us to? It's possible for the Democrats and Republicans to coexist, but tension it just keeps getting higher and higher. And their tension is like way past that. They're not even on our era. Our tension's like the string is being pulled, but not enough to where it'll break. I think they're on like right now. I mean, obviously they're in the middle of a conflict, so it'll be hard for them to get along. Um, and yeah, what was one of your points about? I'm blanking for a sec.
Which part?
Uh, Back up a little bit before that. You said the history.
Oh yeah, between Israel and between Israel and Palestinians goes much further than because
Right.
we can talk about the Abraham Accords during the first
Right. Yeah, that's
Trump
right.
administration, where there were
That's
already
right. And then Trump, yeah, that's right. We were talking about the
the
the ceasefire. Yeah,
ceasefire
yeah,
deal. Yeah. So,
yeah. Yeah. And then what do you think about the ceasefire? Do you think who broke that ceasefire, do you think?
I think this is
And
it's
also
it,
I
it
wouldn't
is
also
relevant. However,
I also come at one.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, yeah, I also come at this. I mean, obviously, I'm coming at this from a. I don't want to be involved in it. I'm still a. I don't want to be involved in these wars, guy. I don't want us funding Israel. I want us backing off and kind of letting the cards play out because I think it, although it's going to cost lives, it might be better in the long run to just not intervene in this conflict. We're too far deep now. So after we get through these conflicts within these next few years, um, I want us to pull out and stop funding these wars.
Yeah.
But then on the ceasefire, okay, go ahead.
No, you bring up a good point. Um, However, I don't think we're ever too far deep. The United States is
Mm,
powerful, and the country, the United States is big enough to say, hey, we've done what we can. sorry, you're on your own. However, I think that and you brought up, go back to one of our first point. You mentioned that, you disagree with the point that, the majority or Christians should, quote unquote, support Israel. Of
Right, and
course,
I say that because for a few issues,
right, right.
I don't even know if these people are the original Jewish people.
Well, you have to.
They won't do DNA. They won't do DNA tests. They have banned DNA tests in their country.
I think that's yeah, yeah. I don't. When it comes to like identity,
And
it's
second,
different.
Israel is not a place. It's a people. The Jewish people. I don't. I get that Israel is an important place in like Christian history. And not only that, I'll say that I'll go this far. Jewish people are an important place in Christian heritage. But I don't think this extends too far past Jesus, because if you didn't convert to Christ, because in my view, Christians are the fulfillment of the Jewish people. You don't have to have ethnic ties to Jewish heritage to be a Christian.
So
They're completely unintertwined.
I I I I lean towards more of your viewpoint. However, I would say that's more progressive Christianity and more modern to what we've
Yeah.
obviously. Okay, I shouldn't use progressive. That's a terrible term, but more modern
Uh,
Christianity, more
uh.
more Protestant,
Well,
Protestantism
yeah.
belief, even in light of recent
Well, if
events.
you look at the Catholic Church, they've been pretty uh,
I think Catholics
con.
is very, very traditional, very location,
Uh,
very historical context,
yeah.
and not and very. Of course, I don't speak for all Catholics and Catholicisms alike, but I do know that some do take in context of historical, landmarks, when it comes
Yeah. No, I think
to
they're important too. Yeah.
um, but they
I would
they
like to
don't,
go to Israel just just to see
maybe
where
not
Jesus. I
today,
know that sounds a little bit
maybe
yeah,
not
not
today.
today, maybe not. Maybe it's not good PR, but I think it would be cool to go and see like the sites where
Oh, I
Jesus
think it'd be
walked
amazing to
through.
be able to do that, but
Yeah,
um,
and the history of Christianity, but that's besides the point. Sorry.
but I think if you look at it, the United States, when it comes to like Christian demographics, I would probably split into two. When it comes
Hmm.
to 50% supports Israel, supports the fact of supporting Israel as in, and I'm purely speaking from a Christian, a big umbrella Christianity,
Hmm. Hmm.
where, yeah, 50% who supports Israel as the people, and then you also have 50% of the, Christians who support Israel as the, as a landmark,
Hmm.
historical context. And, I guess that plays a role where the ratings kind of dropped because if we look at a couple of years ago, the number shifted drastically, decreased with support for Israel. Even today, the number,
Hmm.
is keep dropping because of what Israel is doing, but also, the Protestantism of Christians are understanding what that specific scripture means.
Hmm.
Whether does the Bible reflect as in, are we referring to the people or are we referring to, the historical land? But in this context, I would agree with you that, that the Christian, that today's Christians are the successor of Jewish people, in
Hmm.
from today's speaking in today's terms.
Yeah, and then honestly, I think Christians should have that land. I would never fight for that land, though. It's like I think they should have it, but it's not on my top priority. It'd be like if we can all get along, then yes. But Christianity is not a place. It's we're followers of Christ, so that's why I would never push for that doctrine. But I would love to have it just so it'd be accessible, but it wouldn't be practical.
Correct, correct. I think that,
But
it's a place. I won't go into too religious and too biblical in this, but I
mm,
think that it is important to, because the whole argument, you know, is. I mean, you could argue this entire conversation goes all the way back to the Crusades, fighting
Yeah.
for the Holy Lands. I mean, they were,
Yep. It was bad.
you have extremist Christians slaughtering extremist Muslims back,
Yeah.
vice versa,
Yeah.
just for the claim of this, piece of historical land and other historical territories within the Middle East. Syria has always been at war for, uh, Iraq, modern day Iraq,
Hmm.
has been, pretty much been discussed when it comes to historical context, when it comes to
Yeah.
land and that. But yeah, I think the base is a little bit split, 50-50. Obviously, it leans, it depends on the day of who supports. But I think
I
that,
think they would lean towards supporting towards Israel,
yeah, I
the
think
upper class, I
I
think,
think
and
they,
then
but yeah, but you also, I think it's the older generation that has
upper
that ref
and
the
older. Yep.
upper,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the on the higher end, maybe not millennials, but the what
Was it boomers?
boomers, I
Mhm.
believe they are the ones that are stronger support of Israel.
Yeah.
Not blaming them because they are only doing what the Bible does
Yeah.
deem them to do so.
Yeah.
So, and there's,
Well.
I don't want to be the one to say that there is right and wrong answers. I'm no one to
Yeah.
interpret the Bible in any, you know,
Yeah. 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 Same. Same.
I'm no
I have my personal view
33
on it.
decades of
Yeah.
4 decades of theology, uh, you know, education. However, everybody does have their own personal opinion and viewpoints on how the Bible interprets. But I think that as
Mhm.
far as like, the support goes, yeah, I would say it's the older generations does tend to support Israel, and people and millennials tend to tend to have a shift in mindset with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to look at the demographics on it, but to get back to the ceasefire, how many ceasefires has Israel and Gaza had? Have they had a ceasefire before? Has there been a ceasefire for Gaza?
I
Is this the first one we've seen?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there has been a ceasefire with the Abraham Accords.
Hmm.
However, I don't know
Right.
the extent
Since
of it.
then, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know the extent of it. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know which countries are signatories, even, or what militia groups were
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, I was just curious. And I just want to, what do you think Israel does? So you think this, for first of all, I'll ask you, do you think that this peace plot, so it's kind of a similar situation with Russia and Ukraine and
Hmm.
Israel Gaza. Do you think this ceasefire hold or the ceasefire holds? And do you think if it doesn't, I mean, what do we do about all this broken, rubbled land in Israel? And one more question on top of that. If Israel, do you think Israel is going to continue to annex different parts of Gaza?
So I do want to draw a little bit. So your first point is, you draw similarities between Russia and Ukraine and
Mm,
Israel and Gaza when it comes to potential ceasefire.
right.
However, I do want to, or whoever is watching, and kind of pull a contraction where, you know, with most conflict that Trump has been involved, the past 7, 8 conflict around the world he's been involved, they're all um, smaller countries, regional conflict. I mean, yes, Ukraine and
Hmm.
Russia is
Yeah.
is technically considered a regional conflict.
Yeah.
However, in modern history, no country has been involved a nuclear power, or a superpower like Russia.
Hmm.
And it might be unfair and unjustly to compare, Ukraine and Israel, mostly because Hamas is a militia group.
I don't think so because I'm not comparing volume. I think I think you're
Not
going off a little bit
not
in a wrong direction here.
okay, fair.
No,
Fair.
notice the comparisons I'm making, and don't assume the ones I'm not. I would say there.
Okay, fair, fair. But as I think as far as ceasefire goes, uh, I think the Trump, I think President Trump has much. Well, I do have to make extinction of scalability, um, because we do have the power to
Which is
wipe out. We do have the power to
yeah,
wipe out Hamas and Iran if we
yeah.
wanted to. But I can't say that for Russia.
Well, I'm not talking about the scalability. I haven't said anything. I just said I'm
Well,
drawing the similar
to
lines.
uphold ceasefire wise, yes, I mean the
Yeah.
United States have a lot more power to uphold the ceasefire against Hamas, right? Uh, or I should say, Iranian proxies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I'll get back on track, and I think that when it comes to, oh, very very important point is understanding what Hamas stands for,
Mm-hmm.
understanding what all of these terrorist group, ISIS,
Right. That's
Hezbollah,
important.
what they
That's
stand
important.
for, because they're not just a group of people you can eliminate. Hamas essentially, in all Iranian proxy group, are essentially an ideology.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lifestyle. They're a they are they're all around the world. They might not be extremist,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like Hamas, like Hezbollah, like the Houthis.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Right.
they are you eliminate one of them, their offspring just going to be a worse
It's like
generation.
fucking Hydra.
Like Hydra, you kill one head,
Yeah. Yeah.
seven heads grows out of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I think that that ideology can never be 100% quashed. I think it's more
Mm-hmm.
of a coming together to a term, and coexist in,
Yeah.
in maybe not coexist, but coexist separately, not intermingled, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I think it needs to be. It only. I don't think these guys can share um
They're
what they want
they're
to
trying
share
to.
the
They're
West
trying
Bank
to.
or
They want to
something.
share the
Yeah.
West Bank. They're
So
trying to.
yeah,
But they want
it's
it,
gonna be hard.
dude. It's gonna be
I'm not
governed.
saying it's impossible, but it just realistically, I mean, these people believe in totally different things.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
they're
That
way like
completely different lifestyle, completely different ideologies, very
mhm,
different how they operate. And I think that at that point, I believe the Palestinians have a right to exist? Yeah. Do they have right to exist where they choose? Similarly to
mhm,
Israel,
mhm,
Israelis, do they have a right to exist? Yes, but do they have a right to exist at that location? That's
mhm.
where it's debatable. It's,
Yeah,
are you gonna split the pie in half? Because the
yeah.
argument, I don't, but is the argument for territory or is for ethnic cleansing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm actually not. I think it's more directed towards um I think it would actually be more directed towards territory here, and then maybe, well, currently more towards territory, and then maybe eventually towards ethnic cleansing.
Of which
Um,
group though? Of
towards Hamas, towards
towards
towards the
Palestinians?
Palestinian. Yeah, it might be. I mean, that's what they're kind of afraid of, right?
So
Once they give away territory, do they get a place to live, or are they gonna get what they had before and have Israeli IDF soldiers patrolling their cities?
this is one argument. I think one strong argument that I can, when it comes to like victims versus perpetrators, right?
Mhm.
What would happen if Palestinians or Hamas puts down their weapons?
Oh, dude, don't do that. But what would
No, no,
happen?
no. What would happen?
Um, yeah, yeah. I'm not entirely. Well, I'm gonna draw a similarity. Like, what would happen if Americans put down their guns? We got to kind of lean into human
If
nature here. We're gonna take the advances when we can, and when we have leverage, we're going to use it, or we're
if
going to be. There's two ways it could go. Israel could invade and take it easily, or the United States could limit the Israeli government, which they haven't done so good at, unfortunately, in recent years.
For the
And
sake of this argument or this comparison, let's for the US isn't part of the picture. It's just Israel and
well, no,
Hamas.
I'm not, dude. You're doing this again. I'm not. I'm using the U.S. as an example, not. I'm not comparing the situation. I'm saying the you when if you put down your guns in the United States, what happens? You
What
have
do you mean?
authoritarianism. You have authoritarianism. You have continual creep on your rights. You have no way to defend yourself. So
If the United
that's what
States
might
puts
happen.
down their weapons?
Well, don't think about the United States
Oh,
as a whole.
sorry.
I'm just using it. Yeah, I'm just using it as an example. Like what happens when people put down, why don't we put our guns down in the United States? What is the main reason we have guns? We have guns because we
We
want
have
to
guns to
protect
fight
against an
against
authority.
tyrannies.
Yeah, against
However,
tyrannies,
how
right?
many countries have tyrannies though?
There's a lot of countries that have tyrannies.
Well, some.
Tyranny, what's the difference between tyranny and a monarchy? One is for the people, one is for the few. So it seems that, what Hamas is doing, it seems more like a tyranny than actually than the Palestinian needs. But not to say they didn't vote that in, but it seems that they want to creep on the Israeli people, or they want to kill people unjustly and do that unjustly. So I think, okay, I'll get back to the guns thing to wrap it all around.
Mhm.
I think if they put their guns down, it probably won't be a good situation. We might see Israelis start to control all that territory
Really
and have Hamas live under them. I
interesting.
mean,
That's
why
that's
would
a
you give your
that's a
guns
that's
away?
a very interesting take. Okay, let's play devil's advocate. What would happen if
Yeah.
Israelis put down their weapons?
Oh well, see the big difference is there that Israel has the power to do so. Hamas does not. I think the same thing would actually happen if Hamas had the leverage in that situation.
Huh. You make
Or they could, but I'm not saying like this is an absolute. I'm saying it's a possibility that could happen, but that might not happen because the United States limits their control, kind of.
so before they do limit the control in a what if the
Well,
United
has the
States
power to limit. Sorry,
was
go ahead.
never so the United States is not doesn't exist in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if Israel puts down their weapon?
Oh, Gaza would take the whole entire.
Okay.
I think the
Okay, so
Israelis
that's what
better to be in control than Hamas
that's what
is.
I'm
Yeah.
that's the argument that I'm trying to make, right? So
Yes.
if the United States were not even in the picture, and if Israelis puts down their weapon, Israel
Mm-hmm.
ceased to exist. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree. Hold it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
don't. I think they would continue to take the whole territory and kill everybody.
well,
I don't think these people.
historically speaking, Hamas and Palestinians have always been the offensive aggressors. Uh,
Mm-hmm,
the Israelis have offered multiple times for them to come to the table, negotiation
mm-hmm,
table, and offered for coexistence. But
mm-hmm.
several times the Palestinians have rejected this and created their own government group, which
Well,
is Hamas today.
that's I know a little bit about this. The deals they propose are a bit from their perspective. I haven't looked at this, but this is just a perspective I heard, so I'm not going to represent it as my own. But I've heard the proposal that Israel has given to Hamas seem to be fairly unreasonable, and that they're too high of a demand. I think it I think it has something to do with Israel still having control over or IDF soldiers
Fair.
inside Palestinian territory. So I understand that perspective as well.
I think when it
I'm not sure if
comes,
it's true. I have to. This is why I have to read up on
no,
this
no, no,
topic a little bit more, of
that's a
course.
really good point. So I never really dug into the specifics of, you know, of the agreement, the
Hmm.
negotiation agreement for coexisting back then.
Hmm.
However, I do know that, you know, time after time, the I mean, what is the reason for the conflict back then versus today? It's just the same thing
Hmm.
over and over
Hmm.
again. And in maybe Israel and whatever other Middle Eastern country it gets involved needs a intermediary country like the United States
Yeah,
or like like
I
England
think they do, but I don't think that. I think they do, but I don't think the United States should be supporting that because we.
were
I mean, not only
biased.
that, they have massive amounts of control in. I mean, we don't even get into all of this, but they have. There's a lot of. If you go look at I forget what the website is called, but they have a lot of influence inside of the United States government as well at the top
Oh yeah,
positions.
yeah. I think just about every yeah, I think the Trump's cabinet is a lot of the well, okay.
JD Vance is a good
I need
example
to
of
be
it.
careful with what I say in this point. Um, sorry if you're watching FBI or NSA, whatever you are. But yeah, yeah. So so a lot of the government agencies, when it comes to heads, directors,
Mhm,
Trump's special advisor, Trump's cabinet, a lot of the positions are held by dual citizenship with Israel
mhm.
or a
Which is a
Jewish
huge
descent.
conflict of interest. I
It's
hate.
absolutely
Yeah.
it's a conflict of
It's nice to
interest.
have, of course. Everybody would like dual citizenship, but your views get
Mm.
warped when you engage yourself with people that don't share the same ideologies as your own nation.
So how do you choose which nation to represent?
Well, you choose which one. Well, I mean, that's your choice. The way I would choose is which one aligns with your values more. I'm not going to speak for individuals. Maybe they want to make more money. That's why they choose that country.
Well,
Maybe they want to flee from.
so this, I
There's a
guess,
lot of.
off topic, but this kind of comes down to like an argument between do you support or not nationalism, or it does, but
Mm,
you know, the,
America first.
because you picked, if I picked China for economic
Hmm.
purposes, does that
Hmm.
mean that I owe my allegiance to China, right? But if I like
No,
the
you don't owe
United
your.
States,
No.
okay, so what is a citizenship
But
really,
there's something that fundamentally happens when you stay and reside and have a citizenship in another country.
Mhm.
When you have a citizenship, what does that mean? That means you can go as you want and come as you want
Essentially.
with limited restrictions,
Uh-huh.
and you integrate with their population. They share different views than you. They share different values than you, and
Well,
especially
you don't
to
have
speak on
to
top of China, you don't have to.
integrate though,
Of course
but
not.
I mean,
But
you
people are social people.
yeah,
You
yeah.
should integrate if you go to if you go into a different country.
I mean,
You want to live there for that most.
I know during the peak of COVID, I know a lot of people who Americans who traveled and
Mm.
gained their European citizenship, not because they
Yeah.
are afraid of, not because they're sociable, but because they want to have quote unquote an avenue of escape. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, like I said, for any various amounts of reasons, people
various
would. There's a
reasons.
lot. There's a lot of good reasons, individual on an individual level, to have dual citizenship. On a holistic level, though, there are conflicts of interest.
Like allegiance wise. It's
Allegiance, influence, security. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. No, I think that there should only be allowed one citizenship. I think that should be a universal thing.
okay. Oh, I got our next talking point. Birthright citizenship. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
don't
an
know how I feel about
due
that.
process. Sending people away. So we'll
Yeah,
get into that the next episode. But
yeah. I'll have to research that.
that one's also a pretty juicy one because I mean I come from a family of multinational. So I'm obviously Chinese, black hair.
You're
But
Chinese,
I'm
oh shit.
adopted, so my parents are white.
Right.
Hence why I speak okay English.
You speak good English.
Okay English. I have an accent. I have a Chinese accent, and I lived half of my life. Half of my life I lived in China before I came to the States. I held, I was Chinese national, born there,
Mhm.
held a passport and all that. But I think that, you know, I think with all of that, it does gets the water gets muddy when you're
Mhm.
involved because I mean obviously for going back to the topic for for Israel to be able to kind of hold off and supporting or Israeli supporting Israel uh, because what aren't they like scattered all around the world at one point
Jewish people?
the Jewish people
Oh, all around the world.
all
Yeah.
around
At one
scattered
point, not now. Now the majority are in America and in Israel, but
yeah
there's some,
they
but
kind of
the vast
reconvened
majority.
uh,
Yeah.
somehow they just have a sign uh,
Yeah.
from God and reconvene back to Israel but
Good place to be. I wouldn't want to be there now, but I would want that. It seems like prime real estate to me, but that's just my position on it.
from real
Maybe not.
estate.
Maybe not a raw material rise. I'm not sure what's going on. I know the Middle East has decent raw material.
Yeah.
Qatar's doing really nice for themselves.
Okay, ceasefire. Do you think it's gonna hold up? Who's gonna break it?
Oh, I had good hopes for it at first. I had good hopes for it at first. I'm very unsure. I would have if you would have asked me before this false flag slash I don't know what's going on event happened. I would have said yeah, I'm pretty optimistic. But now I'm after I've seen this and looking into the history a little bit more,
You're a
it's
little
hard to
bit
it's
indecisive.
hard to
Yeah.
yeah, I'm leaning towards no now, but I'm a bit indecisive still. I'd like it to last, of course.
So I think one of the so yeah, it's important to look at some of the talking point or some of the peace plan points that Trump drafted,
Mm,
right?
mm.
I would actually agree with you. I don't know either because mainly because um, Hamas does still have hostages, uh, deceased or alive. I believe it's mostly deceased hostages,
Just
deceased.
deceased. All the ones alive have been given back.
But it is a important piece that the Israelis wants back all the
Yeah.
bodies and number two, the Israelis have done some very uh, interesting attacks. Uh, they've attacked Qatar um,
Mm.
when there was I believe there was a few Hamas leadership uh, in Qatar that was having a meeting or something, and Israelis just send the bomb or missile over there within Qatar, and Trump pretty much just like, yeah,
Let him up.
we didn't know. No,
No. Oh,
Trump's like, yeah,
there's no way
we
he.
had no part in that.
It could be
The
that
U.S.
because
had no
Trump.
intelligence that was gonna happen. Did you buy that? Do you buy
Yeah.
that?
Well, the thing is, it's happened quite a few times that
Quite a
Israel
few
has
times
operated on their
they
own,
attacked Lebanon
but
also.
it's either we knew all of them or we didn't know any of them. So it's kind of like
What do you
it's either they're
believe?
keeping us in the loop or they're not keeping us in the loop.
Okay, I mean,
I lean more towards they're not keeping us in the loop and they're acting individually, but I'm not. I'm honestly not 100% sure.
so as Israel
It seems
is
counter to their interest to do it
well, Israel
individually, but
is considered our military ally,
mhm.
and we do support significant military power to Israel. Um, do you think that the Israelis should be sharing intel with us or not?
Oh, oh my, 100,000%.
Really?
We're big brother here.
See, that's where I would
We
disagree.
fund
So
all of your economy.
I disagree with that though. I
Well,
disagree
because you
with.
come, I see your. I think I know your perspective, but I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
I think it's because of national interest. There still needs to be
Mhm.
a sense of identity because if I
Sovereignty. Yeah.
sovereignty and not only sovereignty but a free choice of their own
Uh-huh.
country's interest. Not they shouldn't be they shouldn't be sharing intelligence with the United
Yeah, but
States
whose
and
bomb did they use?
I think okay. Now you're getting to a point that I don't want to discuss. I hate this
Let's.
talking point. There
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't like this point because the US sent it to them, but
Mhm.
did they buy it or was it a donation or however the US sent it, donated, or however,
Mhm.
Israelis did acquire them, it's in the hands of the Israelis.
Mhm.
If you want to say that, that the United States have limitations on which targets to strike, sure,
Mhm.
maybe they can use an Israeli-made missile for their own agenda or their own objective.
Well, it still would be produced with American money.
See, this is where I
It's like when I invest in a company, there's a certain direction that I want you to go, and that you have to. But you can offer to operate individually when you don't have dependency. But when you have dependency, you have a lack of um, individual sovereignty, because I want them to have sovereignty, but if you're going to be dependent on the U.S. economy to somewhat degree, I
to
mean,
to
what
to
are we? We're
somewhat
at like 400 billion,
to
400
to
billion
to
already.
somewhat
That's a lot
degree.
for their country. They don't even produce that in a year. Well, they might actually. They're
No,
one
no,
of
they're
they're the
they're
highest
pretty they're
producing.
pretty big in the
Yeah,
Middle East.
yeah,
Okay,
they're the
okay.
highest.
I'll touch on this a little bit more.
Sure,
As much as I hate this topic, um,
sure. We don't have to do it if you don't
because
want
of
to.
the Ukrainian and Russian conflict, um,
Wow. Okay, they barely produce 500 billion.
but the argument is if the money is sent, if the military equipment is being sent to, Israel, or let's think of it from a straight outright purchased, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter the country. Yeah, yeah.
So if Israel bought 500 billion worth of military equipment, can they do what they want?
Oh yeah. Yep. If you pay for that with your own money, yep.
Can
I
they do
think. I
what they
mean,
want?
eh, I mean, they have obviously
So
limitations. I mean, you have morality. I mean, there's lots of other, but they can do what they want within their guise.
so not 100%, unfortunately, and I wish that was true, um, because Ukrainians have bought from NATO billions of US
Hmm.
equipments, but the US are
Hmm.
the ones that are saying, yeah, these missiles that you bought can only hit these targets. So that's why
Uh-huh.
I don't like this
That's
argument.
because we still fund them.
We fund them through NATO now. We don't fund them directly.
Uh-huh.
We don't fund for the past
Yeah, yeah, but
six
we've still
months.
spent a lot of money in investment. It's like saying, if we had spent none and it had been a few years without our dollar, then yeah, go do what you want with it. But you still do have to hold to a somewhat universal moral rule.
What country does that apply to, though? So the only
What?
reason why,
All countries,
the reason why I mentioned this is because it
United
applies to
States.
the United States because we are the main producer of military power, yet we are the only country that puts restrictions on the weapons.
Hmm.
For example, if
Yeah,
Venezuela decides to buy 100 aircraft jets from Russia, I guarantee you the Venezuelans have free reign on what they do with the jets and who they hit. They
that's because
don't they
when
don't
we
have
sell them
to
product.
ask Uncle Russia on which targets they can hit, right?
Yeah, that's because when they buy from Russia, there's probably not a deal made that with some contingencies. It seems that there's probably a deal made
Very
with the
fair,
United
very
States.
fair point, very fair point. The
And
the
even if that was so, we still fund them, so it just
true.
circles back.
Well, I mean, so yeah, but Russia does fund Iran. Russia does also fund
Well, Russia
Venezuela.
can do what Russia wants with whatever they. I mean, if that's what Russia wants to do with no investment, it's like leaving. It's like you invest in a company and you have no say on the direction you want it to go. They're going to go in a direction that you don't see as a profitable way or in your best interest. You're going to say, "Hey, don't
Fair.
do that," or we're gonna.
We're gonna with drawback, yeah,
Yeah.
pull back our support. Yeah, I think that you know. So now going back to the Israel.
Yeah.
and American support. I think that we are very heavy tied in this Israeli conflict.
Hmm.
However, the Israelis have done some pretty significant, uh, interesting attacks on other country, for the sake of, Ukraine, or Ukrainian, for the sake of Israeli survival. But
Yeah, and that's another point too. When Israel operates in a direction that we don't want to operate in, that not only affects their image, but it affects the United States image as well.
I think it affects our image majorly. I mean, how
Yeah.
does Big Brother
So,
United States allow Israel to just hit, strike at the heart of Qatar, another,
yeah.
United States ally, really,
Right. Yeah, they are basically.
huge ally,
Hmm.
and
Do a lot
also
of business there.
potentially a signatory of the ceasefire, or is, a
Yeah.
signatory of a ceasefire. But I
Hmm.
think that if I was to say who did break the ceasefire, I'm definitely leaning more towards Hamas, and not so Israel,
Yeah.
because we do have a sense of the Israelis do have a sense of accountabilities, and U.S.
Right.
intelligence watching from that side. Obviously, we are also watching what Hamas is doing, whether weapons are being transported, etc. But at the same time, they're
It's hard to
also
get the information
very
though,
very
because
difficult.
a lot of
It's
there was a lot of bombs planted too
yeah, yeah,
within the border territory
yeah.
and all over Gaza as well. So I mean,
I mean, in anybody's
you,
phone,
they,
anybody's
yeah,
pager
I'm not
can be
sure.
used as
I'm
a
not sure
weapon
if I believe that.
nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
bad. Your iPhone's got one.
yeah. iPhone can be used as a triggered explosive device, but
Mhm.
and that was, yeah, that's a military marvel, intelligence marvel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As
Well, I think it's a
devastating as
product.
it is beautifully done,
Revolutionary.
revolutionary.
Yeah, I think it's a product of their. I mean, you that could happen in the United States, but it might be a product of their underdeveloped technology within their country. I haven't looked into
I don't.
that technology they use.
I don't think it's
Would it be
technology. It's
detect?
just it's Trojan horse. That's all it is.
No, no, no. I'm saying it probably would have been detected before it got so far up. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But no, that's besides the point.
But still, it's
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's
engineering
pretty crazy.
marvel.
Yeah.
Um, but
The US is gonna take credit for that actually. I'm not sure. Could
no,
be, could not be.
no. I mean, was what, was that a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, almost, that
Yeah, something like
or
that.
man, and that was at that time, that was already a pretty big news. But
Yeah, that's bad. I mean that's immoral. That's highly immoral. You know what? It's the United States is not going to take credit for that. Let me rethink this.
you pulled that back.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't looked in the whole situation. I know of this situation. I just haven't looked into
So
it. So.
from my understanding, the pagers are being used for communication, and
Mhm. Yeah.
targeted for like military age people. I mean, obviously
Okay.
there's collateral damage.
Right.
You
Right.
can't avoid.
With any bomb.
Exactly. You can't
Hmm.
avoid collateral damage. Maybe a kid picked up a pager, handed to his dad or something, and then it gets blown up by the pager. We don't know we I mean, when you have, thousands of pagers spread out across a city, you don't know what the
Hmm.
aftermath looks like. You really
Hmm.
don't.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
in
On the point of Israel. Fair enough.
but at the
The
same
Israel representative. Fair enough.
but at the same
No,
time,
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
I don't. It's hard.
Israeli son.
It's
No.
it's hard.
It's hard. No, you're right.
It's
It's
hard.
hard. It's
I
hard.
can't. I
I
don't
don't
want
know
to
what's going on. We
say.
don't have enough information. I don't. Maybe
Well,
we should
do
go
we
down
not
to
have enough
Gaza and
information,
Israel,
or are we just being naive?
or maybe we have too much information. We don't know how to decipher through it and what's real and what's not real. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, propaganda is a strong
We don't
thing.
have enough. We don't have enough. Sorry, let me rephrase. We don't have enough quality information, definitive information. We have the
Yeah,
information, but we don't know how to
we don't know
decipher
how
if
to
it's not
decipher.
true or
Yeah,
yeah,
understanding
yeah,
what's true and what's not.
yeah. It's
But
all right.
okay, so let's hit on collateral. collateral damage. Um, have you ever there's a movie that I watched a few years ago. It's called Eyes from Above. It's about this drone operator who you know who saw a compound with several terrorist higher ups all in the same location, but
Mm-hmm.
there's also women and children present. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you let it rip, or do you what
Mm-hmm.
what's the um,
I don't know what the United States government policy on that is, but
so the United States
yeah,
policy, from my understanding, is you minimize as much collateral as you can. Um,
seems like a good trade to me. I mean, not to discount those lives, of course,
God.
but
It, so
just to be a realist,
it,
we weren't targeting them,
it's gonna
but
depend on who you ask at the end of the day. It depends on who you
yeah,
ask.
that's my quick,
In
sort
my
of witty response.
in
But
my opinion,
I'm not sure how I would
in my
react.
opinion, it's one of those unnecessary evil, um,
Mm-hmm.
sucks to suck type of type of situation
Yeah,
for the people. Not
yeah,
not that because they're any less human than any of us.
yeah.
It's
Of
just
course not.
that, or even at a bad, wrong time, wrong place, situation either. It's more like a opportune, um, scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I think the movie played how the movie played out was they send the special forces down there to extract, the the women and children out of the compound. Obviously,
Yeah,
there's only so much you
that's
can do with
probably how the
and there's only so
yeah.
much you can do with that, because what if a kid ran to his dad and reported it? Then what? Now, sorry, kid,
Then you have your
you
own
gotta
United
go.
States military people. Yeah,
It- It's
and you put
it's
your military in risk. So you have
exactly,
to.
exactly. But
Some immoral acts have to be.
something more, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not. Well, I wouldn't even consider that immoral. Well, that's for interpretation, but maybe you just detain that guy. But I don't know. I'm not gonna.
We got a
I
we
don't
got
know.
a drone over the head right now.
Shit.
We got a drone flying over. Uh,
Maybe there's a few terrorists in yours. On your. No, I'm kidding. That's not funny.
I'll send you a clip. They're pretty nasty. These drones are pretty
Yeah.
nasty.
Russian drones or Ukrainian drones flying? It's
Russian drones.
Ukrainian, right? Flying into through Ukraine or Russian? I
They're,
didn't.
they're, there's well, they're Iranian model, but Russian
Yeah,
manufactured.
but Russian owned.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
No, they're suicide drones.
You'll be all right though, right?
No, I'm not scared at all. We have
Okay.
these every other day. Um,
Okay.
no, but they can be very unpredictable. Obviously, they try to target energy infrastructures and other critical infrastructures, but they do target, residential buildings and in places like that. But going back, I personally think that it will hold, but I
Mm,
do
that's
think
good.
that the ceasefire break was from Hamas side. I do believe that it will hold due to that there's not really too many things that the Israeli or the Trump is or the Hamas really has left. They don't really have
Hmm.
much leverage besides the deceased
Hmm.
bodies, um,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately. And there's also
Well, fortunately to the hostages, or but yeah, they don't have much
they don't have,
negotiating power.
fortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they don't
Yeah.
have much leverage when it comes to negotiation. Um,
Uh-huh.
in However, they are very, very hesitant on putting down on de-arming Hamas entirely.
Hmm.
That was one of the points that Trump said. Hamas must de-arm.
They
Um,
must, yeah.
or I believe for phase two, phase three, there was a map. that I had. Let me see if I can pull it up. Is
Let's wrap it up in like 5 minutes
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Israel, uh, Hamas phase map. Um, see if I can find a quick map.
Or again, is it like districting? Districting?
Districting, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
different phases. So phase one has like they will pull back a certain distance once, all live hostages, prisoners have been
Mm-hmm.
released from both sides. And then phase two is if Hamas, de-arms, Israel will go to
Uh-huh.
phase three, will, pretty and I shouldn't say Israelis, IDF will pull out of phase, completely out of phase three, when the new government are introduced, stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
here's a very, I guess,
Okay, so they're just as time goes by, they're going to get more and more back of their land.
correct. Oh,
Okay.
not so IDF will slowly back out of the region,
Gaza Strip.
Gaza
Yeah.
Strip.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's the so the I don't know if you can see the blue.
Challenge.
Blue is the initial, uh, and then you have so captive released, go back to the yellow zone. So IDF will
Uh-huh.
pull out of the yellow zone upon this. Second withdrawal, Israeli security forces mobilized. So that's where they're gonna pretty much hold until the third phase. So when the third phase happens, Israel will stop completely out of the Gaza Strip. So
Mm.
here's the 20 point peace plan. It's pretty
Oh
very
yeah.
in depth, but uh, you wanna read some of them?
Yeah, sure. I'll read. Gaza will become a de-radicalized terror-free zone. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, duh.
Kind of have to.
Gaza will redevelop to improve life for its people. Yep.
Yeah.
War ends immediately once both sides agree, with Israel withdraw to an agreed upon line and ceasefire. Yep. Pretty cut and clear. I like how he's doing because I I read Charlie Kirk's like 6 point proposal to Prime Minister. Have you read that?
I have not to Netanyahu.
Charlie Kirk wrote a letter to Netanyahu to
Really?
improve his publicity. Yeah, because he noted Charlie Kirk noticed that Israel was getting bad reputation with the public, so he wrote a letter to Netanyahu and wrote like I think it was like maybe like 12 points, but they were like paragraphs and paragraphs. Are these just summaries of what the
What
20
Charlie?
point plan, or is this the
No,
actual
this is the
sentence?
actual.
Yeah, I like that he did
I don't
this.
know. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Okay,
I
it
don't
might be
know if
more
there were.
complicated.
It might be more complex than these are just
Yeah,
the bullet points.
yeah. Well, I like. Well, either way, maybe that's not a point that should be. But yeah, let me read more. All captives alive and deceased return within 72 hours of Israel's acceptance. Yep.
Hmm.
Israel frees 250 Palestinian life sentence prisoners. Palestinian. Okay. What? Yeah. I mean, it's a part of the deal. It makes sense, but I mean, I hate that.
That's a lot
Obviously,
of.
life sentence prisoners, 1,700 detainees. Yeah, go ahead. And exchange remains proportionally. But yeah, they could be life sentence prisoners because they're within a war, so maybe it's reasonable. I'm not sure what these people have committed. They might actually be committing what would be the
War crimes.
molestation? Yeah, you know. I don't know if we're allowed to say it on YouTube. Forced. What would you? What's the word? Forced relations. There you go.
Uh-huh.
Forced relations with some of these people. So I want to keep those people in jail, but it's part of the deal. So Hamas members who decommission their weapons get amnesty or safety passage abroad.
Yep.
Full humanitarian aid enters immediately to rebuild essential infrastructure. Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
Yeah,
on that point,
go ahead.
um,
I read about that a
um,
little bit too.
yeah. So on that point, uh, even the past few months, Israel has been withholding a lot of the humanitarian aid and forbidden it to enter Gaza to
Mm-hmm.
distribute the aid. What do you think on that? Do you think that Israel should block humanitarian aid
No,
coming into Gaza?
No, but I see the reason for doing it, but no, I don't think that's immoral, of course. I see the reason for it, but it just creates more bad publicity for them, so I'm not sure they're thinking too long term for
Hmm.
that, but we'll see. Maybe they'll recover quickly. Aid
Maybe.
flows freely via UN and Red Crescent. Rafah crossing reopens under agreement. Rafah is into
Rafa is the
Egypt.
bottom side. No, no, no. Rafa
Yeah,
is
on the
bottom side of
well,
second
northern Egypt. Yeah,
northern Egypt. Yeah.
it's yeah, north of Egypt, not northern Egypt. My
No,
bad.
North. Yeah.
Uh, Gaza governed temporarily by technocrat Palestinian committee under an international board, including former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair and led by Trump. What?
Yeah. So there's going to be a board.
Well, that's
There's going to be a. Think of it like
that's
the
interesting.
Congress who elects your next the next Palestinian representative
Uh-huh.
led by yours truly, Donald J. Trump.
And former UK Prime Minister. It's well, there's going to be a board of Gazan representatives, probably right,
Hmm.
temporarily by.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, so there's going to be some Palestinian representation.
International.
Yeah. So yeah. And then it's Prime Minister. Yeah. Oh, I just realized. I thought I read Israel, but
No, no, no.
UK. I was like,
UK.
why is Israel on the board? But
No, no.
nah, my brain like went because I was thinking about Israel. But yeah, no, that's good. They'll be guided. I mean, these guys have. It's a lot different. Well, I'm going to this country soon, so let me use a third world country top autocrat is going to be a lot different than a first world president. It's going
Yeah.
to be a lot different. There's going to be way better guidance, so it makes sense. Trump economic plan to rebuild Gaza with global investment and job creation. Good.
Trump
That's
doing what he does
incentivizes
best.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaza. What was his video that he posted on Gaza? Trump Gaza.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the Trump Tower go on the prime real estate of the western coastline. Yeah,
Did you
sounds like
know,
Trump.
fun fact, did you know Trump wanted Trump Tower in Moscow? In fact,
Did he? Oh yeah.
did.
What
He
about
did.
Kiev?
No.
Let's get one in there,
I'll be down. I'll work there.
huh?
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Special economic zone established with favorable trade terms.
Hmm. No forced no forced displacement. People are free to
Displacement,
stay, leave or
labor
return.
return.
Hamas excluded from governance. All weapons
Makes
dismantled.
sense.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Love that.
The all weapons dismantled. I don't know. I don't know about how much of that's going to become a reality. I mean, obviously that should be a
Yeah.
given, but regional partner guarantees Hamas compliance and security.
Hmm.
How do you know who's Hamas and who
Who is
isn't?
the regional partners? Oh, Hamas is. Oh, they got tons of regional partners.
Regional
I thought
partners? No, no, no.
I keep reading Israel.
Yeah, no, no. This is just
But no.
like Egypt, Qatar,
Yeah,
areas of those people,
all the neighboring
all the
Middle
neighbors.
Eastern countries. Yeah.
International.
International stabilization force deployed to secure Gaza and train police.
Hmm. So
Oh, that's what
law
ISF
enforcement.
is. I thought that
I
was.
thought it was just Israel security forces.
Okay, that makes more sense though. It's a neutral.
It's yeah,
It's
yeah.
neutral instead. Yeah,
International slave
Israel
relation.
won't. Yeah, Israel won't occupy Gaza. Withdraws its stability and demilitarization
So
progress.
what does
Yeah,
that really mean, though? Israel won't occupy
that they won't
Gaza.
occupy and have their soldiers in the Gazan
Well, that doesn't say
line.
IDF. That just says Israel won't occupy
I
Gaza.
guess anybody
So
that's
who lives here then?
IDF is Israel.
Yeah, but who?
Palestinians.
Only Palestinians?
I don't know.
So does
They
that mean
used to live
Palestinians
together,
win?
right?
Does
Well,
that
they're
mean
getting
Hamas,
back their. I don't know.
the land that was
I don't know.
stolen?
I don't know who wins here. I don't think either side wins here, to be honest. It seems both for bad sides.
Yeah. If Hamas
If
rejects the
Hamas,
plan, areas handed over from the Israeli military to the ISF will proceed. Fun. So that means what? That means back to square one.
yeah, I mean, if they reject it, they're gonna keep.
Fighting.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Back,
bad.
back to the drawing board. Interfaith dialogue launched to promote values of tolerance And peace coexistence. Sounds like Israel and Palestinians have a AA coming up.
I mean, they kind of have to. I mean,
Have a
these
rehab.
people live within like so close to each other. They're literally on each other's borders, and they have completely different. They have to learn to get along.
But can they though?
I'm not. They did at one point, so maybe they can again. But it seems that some of
See,
the
that's where I just don't
ideologies,
see it. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
yeah,
The
it just.
ideologies are just too far apart from each other.
Mhm.
And it's also you don't also have a country like the United States where ideologies does differ, but you don't have extremist who does cause who does cause havoc and
Yeah, who go and
terror,
kill people?
cause
Yeah,
terror on people. I mean, I think the United States
we
is the most diverse country in the world, and it does
to our
accept
detriment.
to our
That's another
detriment,
conversation.
to our detriment. Yeah. Well, to our detriment if because if immigration is just absolute garbage. Um,
Yeah,
but if
right.
immigration were actually monitored and controlled and immigration were for the good of economic, then yeah, I think the United States can flourish and be better. But as of right now, it's absolute in the shitter. Uh,
Hmm.
and and Trump is definitely doing a reversal on that. So.
What was the last one? The U.S. lead talks in
U.S.
peaceful political future between Israel
Israel
and
and
Palestine.
Palestinians, yeah. So just probably
More
another
U.S. intervention. Love that. Why don't we have the UN deal with it?
not bro, the UN is just absolute garbage.
I know they're
Um,
garbage, but yeah. Sorry, why don't we have the? I don't know.
I don't
No, we kind of
with
have to.
any international. I understand the purpose of UN. However, the UN can't do anything. Um, Mainly because of
Yeah,
the
it's
permanent.
completely bought.
It's not
Yeah,
completely biased. Is you have so there's 5 seats in the
gotcha.
permanent party of UN.
Hmm.
So you have China, Russia, US, France, and I believe UK.
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 Mm.
And if any of those and obviously those are some very conflicting countries. If one
Yeah, yeah,
country vetoes, UN is just sitting on its ass, twirling its thumb.
yeah. I mean, because they're backed by force, and nobody wants force, and nobody wants
Well, it's not even force. It's
widespread
just that
war.
there's veto power behind it. UN
Well,
isn't
yeah,
gonna
and
do
behind the
anything.
veto power, there's a capable country. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I don't
yeah,
know about France,
it would mean
but
less if.
anyway,
Oh
so
yeah, yeah. And, yeah. Maybe not even the UK so much either.
maybe the UK,
It
but
seems like
the other big three can definitely.
yeah,
Sorry,
fuck
all
up
the
their.
Frenchies and all the knockoff Englishmen.
Oh shit! No, they're. I have a lot of respect for them. Actually, they are our
They're good people.
foundation. So yeah.
We're just they're the first draft, or they're just the final draft. So
Oh,
all right,
we
man.
might still be in the drafting stage, but yeah.
Hey, COVID did purge a lot of people, so we might need another a human depopulation process. So we'll see. All right, man. Well, hey, good
He wants
discussion.
genocide. But
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
Whoa.
Ethnic
Yeah, it was a good
cleansing
discussion.
of
Good content.
game people, maybe. We can ethnic cleanse all the drug addict and all the illegal
You heard
immigrants.
it here first, guys. He wants to kill all illegal immigrants and people who use drugs.
Gotta go.
That
Your
means you too, Grandma, using your ibuprofen.
sorry, Grams. Gotta go. You people
Uh,
on your medication marijuana, you can stay. I allow you to stay, but everybody else gotta
okay.
go.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in and